and restarted, and then the mixer worked again.
Well, good morning, Maddie.
Hi, Ryan.
Good morning. Welcome to Insomniacs in the morning, as usual. And I made a joke about it last night.
It's like 1,000 degrees in here.
I know. I'm not wearing a sweatshirt today because it's 60 degrees outside.
Oh, is it? That explains why it's so hot in here. Okay.
It is, but it's also cloudy and gross, which kind of sucks. But I was going to say, I made a joke last night where I was like, come watch the stream. Let's see which one of us has a problem turning on our microphones tomorrow.
This actually took less time than last time.
I know.
I don't think it's me because I really think it's Google Hangouts. I know we shouldn't keep talking about this, but it's everything on my computer works 110% of the time except for when we do this fucking show.
I know.
So
And I don't know what to say. It's like, come on, Google. You were like the leading internet source. I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, I actually do think we should try a different streaming service. So if people have suggestions, tell us and we'll
I think we can still stream to YouTube either way, which is awesome. So that's a good thing.
Let's just pretend we're playing a video game.
Okay, wait, hold on. Speaking of which, can I please tell you while like I was waiting for you to sign on, I'm playing music while we wait, and Mary Ellen just writes, "My favorite part of this show is listening to you quietly play video games before it starts."
Was it like Sonic music? It sounded like it.
First it was before you even got here, I was playing 90s music, and it was like pump it up, and then I switched it to Metroid, and then I switched it to Batman, the NES game. So
okay, yeah. It's Batman the NES game.
That game was great, and the music in that is great, and I'll stand by that forever. Also, I just somehow closed out of our notes for this week, so good job. We're on a roll.
I like how my sister just texted me to say she can hear me on the show.
Thanks, Meg.
Thanks, Meg. I like how everybody's trying to help us.
I mean, I really appreciate people telling us because that means they're listening. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's just our two friends at this point. This show is so annoying. I don't care. It's the only day a week that I can actually get out of bed because I'm like, I have to get up because I don't want to let Ryan down. This show is like
it was also a challenge. Yeah, you're the one who came up with the idea, so I'm here.
That's why I'm grateful for it.
Okay, so legitimate question. Okay. Am I really loud right now?
No, I mean, I think you're louder than me, but it's not bad.
I can turn up your...
I can turn down my headphones also.
No, you don't need to do that because I can turn up your mic a little bit. So.
Am I too soft?
No, you sound great now, actually. We sound pretty equal, I think.
Okay. I always mess with that later in the audio-only version, which you can find at our website, but not on iTunes.
I'm still waiting for them to respond to that ticket, but we don't need to talk about that on air.
I know, but we did last week. I thought maybe we would just do it every week.
Let's just tell everybody that it's still going through iTunes since the website fell apart. I
blame iTunes at this point. It's been like a month and they're like, we can't fix it. I don't know.
Well, they said they reset something and I was like, okay, well, whatever you did, it's not working. So we'll figure it out eventually, but there is a podcast available at atomicblueproductions.com.
And there's even an RSS feed available if you want it.
Yep.
Except
so
iTunes can't use it. I'm mad.
We'll put it all in the notes. But yeah, so how did you sleep last night on Insomniacs in the morning?
Not too bad, actually. I have no right to be tired. I went to bed at a reasonable hour. I woke up at a relatively reasonable hour.
That's good. I also slept enough last night.
Before I fall asleep, and I shouldn't do that.
I actually have slept a lot this week, and so it's really weird because first of all, I think Friday through Sunday I barely slept at all, and then into Monday, and then on Monday I crashed finally. I slept for like 9 hours straight, and then last night I slept like 7 hours. So I think that's the problem with my body is that I'll be like, all right, I'm going to sleep now. And like, you need to be tired for 2 days and sleep. And then I'm not going to go to sleep for like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah. Like if you stay up for 2 days in a row, you're going to be tired enough to sleep no matter what. That's like a life hack, people. Just stay up for 2 days.
Yeah.
I don't actually think anyone should do that. But you know,
I don't know.
I feel like even though we've actually gotten more sleep, we're like less energetic and manic as a result on this show than we normally are, or at least that's how I feel. I feel like groggier. This is why people should get less sleep because it'll help them be on their game.
Speaking about being on game,
oh my god,
can we just
talk about GENO on this show?
We will in a second, but I want to talk about this oatmeal because it's fucking bomb right now.
What did you put in it?
Okay, so first of all, it's like a apple crisp flavored oatmeal, and I put bananas, raisins, and granola with raspberries and blueberries in there, and it's so good.
That sounds amazing.
Right, seriously? Like,
did you make it with water or milk?
I never use milk. I hate milk. Milk grosses me out.
I don't think oatmeal made with water is as good, but you know what you might like?
What's
oatmeal
that?
Made with almond milk.
I was gonna say we're gonna suggest almond milk.
Yep, I make oatmeal with almond milk. It's really good.
Sometimes on the rare occasions where I'm craving cereal because I want to relive that nostalgia, I get almond milk.
Oh my god, cereal and almond milk is 1,000 times better than cereal and milk.
It's good because it's almond milk.
I mean, it tastes better. Like, I didn't even like cereal until I started eating it with almond milk.
They make it in other flavors too.
I did not like cereal very much.
There's like vanilla almond milk and stuff too, and it's really delicious. I just can't get behind drinking milk, and I haven't in years, like years and years, because like the idea of like drinking what comes out of a cow seems really weird to me.
Okay, well, that's crazy, first of all. Because
I have some crazy
constantly.
I know, but like at least it's not in its liquid form anymore, so it's a little less gross to me.
All right, I'm just not going to allow you to think about that because clearly, if you do, you're going to have a meltdown and realize that cheese comes from 1,000 other animals. And
we've already established that I have the world's weirdest eating habits, so we don't need to go into this.
Also, I don't think it's actually strange for you to not like milk. Like, if you just don't like milk, I know so many people who are like, I just think milk is gross. And I think that's completely acceptable because actually milk is kind of gross. And I have no idea why I like it so much, but I do. And I'm just not going to question it. But like, it's a very strange substance.
Well, you also don't like, I mean, it's probably the few things you can drink because you don't drink anything but like juice, water, milk. You can't drink soda.
I do not drink soda. I really hate drinking beer. I've been trying to teach myself how to do it this year because of peer pressure, but I really fucking hate it.
Yeah, you had a cider last week. I was surprised about that.
I'll say this on this show. I hate drinking, and I hate hanging out with people who drink because they're always trying to get me to drink. Not because they're drinking, because they're always trying to get me to drink. And I'm like 29, and I still have to put up with peer pressure from everyone in the world constantly to drink. An activity I don't enjoy. It actually really annoys me, and I'm tired enough to admit it today.
You know what? That's fine because I mean, I sort of agree with you. I enjoy drinking a little bit. I used to drink a lot more when I was younger, but for my family, it's more like a social activity. But for the most part, I prefer not to. And like, there's a lot of times where like I'll go to parties and everyone's drinking and I won't, or even at home, Ben will have a drink and I'm not interested. Mostly because like. Even with the drink, then I'm like, I already have bad sleeping habits. So that contributes. And then I can't focus and get anything done. And I can't really relax either. And I can't like do anything fun. And I'm like, well, anyway, I've just like completely turned off my ability to do anything at all. So
yeah,
I've got depression to do that for me. I don't need like,
I don't. It's not even the effects of alcohol, really. It's the fact that I don't like the taste of most of them, first of all. So I'm like, I'm drinking a sugary drink, because that's basically what alcohol is. So it's going to make me feel like shit. And like, it's a downer. So it's going to make me feel depressed, probably. And then I'm getting zero enjoyment out of it. Like, I tried a cider the other day because all of our friends were like, Maddie, this cider's going to blow your fucking mind. And I tried it and I was like, tastes like a cider to me.
Yeah. I mean, I was drinking whiskey that day. See, that's the problem though, is that once I start drinking, I don't stop. So it's another issue.
Also, like, I think you're more like, I mean, I do the exact same thing, which is when we go and hang out with our friends, everybody's like, let's all have a shot. And then like, we'll all do it because everybody's doing it. And like, that's literally how peer pressure works.
See, no, the problem with me is like, I seriously don't mind drinking. And it's like, if we are with people and we start drinking, that's fine. But like, then the only thing I can do is that. And that's like why I can only do it if like, that's literally the only thing that's going to happen for like the rest of the day or night. And it's funny because we have a show here on Atomic Blue, which is Retrospectives, which involves Jess and I doing customized shots for retro gaming and then playing the games while drinking. And it's like today we have that shoot, so I've had to literally cancel everything else after that because I know I'm not going to get anything done. So I guess my standpoint on this is like, I don't mind drinking, but it has to be like when I literally don't want to do anything else for the rest of the day.
That sounds terrible to me.
I mean, that's the problem with it. So
I would be like, I can't. I'm the opposite. I'll start drinking and I'll be like, I don't even want this drink. And then I'll put it down and be like, I'm going to drink half of this, I guess.
See, I think you have a better relationship with it than I do because I go back and forth.
You are closer to everyone else in the world in the sense that you understand the addictive properties of alcohol, and I do not. It is literally never.
Oh my God. It's like so back and forth. Like, because I keep on saying that I prefer not to drink, but then when I'm in the bar setting, I'm there. So whatever. This is like not a conversation. Like, people do not want to listen to us talk about whether or not we drink and what we do. So let's move on to the next thing. So anyway,
I'll cut all of that out of the audio only version.
No, you don't need to. We need to keep it forever.
Okay, Brian.
It's a podcast.
Cheers, man.
Maddy and I are working on our space web show, GENO, which we have talked about on this show. Yep. Which is basically a series that Maddy and I started writing in our teens and kind of continue to adapt as we've gotten older, and we're turning it into a web show. And we have our pilot script ready to go, and we just cast 2 of the people.
Yeah, I mean, we have rewritten this show like 600 times. We're not literally recreating something that we wrote in middle school because we can't do that. So it's probably going to be bad because we've spent like 3 decades on it.
But you know what? We've also decided the stakes are low, and we're just going to pretend it's like a bad 90s sci-fi show. So like,
well, because we don't have any money, so.
And we're not really asking for it. We're just like, we're doing this for fun. So
I think it would be nice if we had better microphones.
Probably.
I'm just gonna float that out into the universe.
You always float that out into the universe, no matter what we're working on. We were literally doing a musical one year, and Maddy was just like, it would really help if we had better microphones.
Wasn't I right, though?
No, because then the microphones got sucked even more. So
I paid for them with my own money. Fuck you. Whatever. Why are you bringing that up now?
Sorry.
Whatever, Ryan.
We're just going to... Let's fight about this.
I don't know why you brought
We're gonna have a fight.
Okay, so that's a great example of a project that Ryan and I worked way too hard on. The many musicals that we were in over the years when we first started doing projects.
Yeah.
At cons. Oh my God. Okay, so it's not gonna be like that, which is what we say every time we start a new project. It's not gonna be like X, Y, and Z, but it will be. It'll be a shit show. We're gonna completely fail at all of the technical aspects of it. So you should probably check it out. I've been sending a lot of tweets about this spaceship that I'm trying to build.
Okay, that's great though.
I spent a really long time trying to pick out inexpensive props that we could get that would make my living room look like a spaceship.
I think my favorite part about it is that you keep texting Zach and be like, can you get tin foil? And he's like, for a hat? And you're like, no, to make a spaceship. And I'm like, neither of what you guys are saying.
He instantly forgot about the spaceship. I was like, so I'm going to build a spaceship in the living room. And he was like, well, I hope it's going to be gone by the time I get back from work. And I was like, it's not. And he was like, just stared at me silently.
He's in the show. Like, what the hell?
He's not like a main character in the show.
No, he's not. He's also not in the pilot. So
yeah. And also he gets really shy about being in things. So I'm a little worried about that. He doesn't like ever really want to be in anything. So I'm a little worried that by the time it's time to like do his bit part, he's going to be like, what if I don't do it? So we'll worry about that when it happens.
Luckily he's going to play somebody if we get there who's like pretty shy anyway. So
yeah, but he might hold the camera and stuff. So
we should probably explain what this show is so people can get behind it.
We have on the show before, but we can go over it again if you want. I think people might remember because I assume the only people watching this show are people who've seen every episode and actually like it. I don't think we're getting any new viewers.
Let's just say that it involves Maddy being a badass space agent alien.
Yeah. I usually say it's about alien spies, and it's set in the future, like hundreds and hundreds of years in the future, and it's about aliens.
Yep. And so that's more or less what's been going on in our life.
Ryan look like an alien, which is going to be hard.
Well,
A lot of things about this show that are making it much harder than it would be if we just filmed the sitcom set in the current day. But we couldn't do that. We wanted it to be about aliens.
We keep on going back and forth on this too.
I know. For a while earlier this month, we were like, let's just set it in the modern day. Let's just take these characters and.
Well, there was also like times
and
where
I was
we were
like, I can't see any of these characters as not aliens.
Well, there's a period of time where we also were like, we could do an alternate timeline of like the 80s or the 90s, but then we decided we didn't want to do that either. So,
well, because the story is what it is. It's always been what it is. It's always been set in the future. It's always been about aliens. Like, there's too many parts of the plot that are inherently about that, and it's hard for me to sort of. Like, I can do a spin-off series, but then we would have to take out everything about the show that has to do with that. And that's true. Fine. I'm not opposed to doing that at some point because I think it would be funny. But I don't know. It's tough. I mean, there's a lot of stuff about the show that we've changed. We've cut characters. We've combined characters. We've completely rewritten scripts multiple times.
That was before we were looking at it as a web show aspect, because we thought about doing it in other ways too. We thought about radio plays, we thought about actual shows, we thought about novels, like even comic books, like I think that's it.
I mean, I think we thought for a while about just releasing it as like a bunch of short stories or like a book. We did that for a little bit. So we just think we're hilarious. So we just keep rewriting these same characters that we think are funny. They're probably not.
I think they're endearing to us. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see what our editors think.
No one will edit the show, by the way, so that's not going to work out.
We sent it over to Mary Ellen, and she's probably just going to be like, "Good job, guys."
Yeah, I think Mary Ellen. Yeah, Mary Ellen. There's no pressure. I'm a few steps away from like putting it out on my Facebook or something and being like, "Do I know anybody who would be willing to like give us constructive criticism about this pilot for a web series that we've rewritten for like 3 years?"
We've already done that. Well, like, let's be real. We just need to make it. I haven't
posted on my Facebook about it. If you have, I that's good. I haven't asked anybody to edit it. I'm also kind of scared for people to look at it because I'm worried it's going to be terrible. But we should probably have people look at it before we film it.
That's probably it.
It's not too late to fix it.
So I'm gonna kind of move on from GENO for a second because we're running late.
We're done.
And while we're on the topic of aliens, I just want to say the only other thing that I've done in the past week besides work on GENO stuff.
Oh my god, yeah.
Is watch this movie Home, which came out forever ago. And I only watched it.
Tell me what that is. I've never heard of this.
It's on Netflix, so you can watch it there. And our friend Steph said that she liked the soundtrack to it and she enjoyed watching it because she likes animated films. And I went to go and watch it, and it's it's a CG movie. It's kind of like on the same level as
Titan AE.
No, it's more like it's doing the Disney thing where it's like Toy Story and Inside Out, but less traumatic.
Sort of like DreamWorks-ish kind of.
Yeah, it's like that kind of stuff. So it's got like some fun family aspects to it, and then it's funny, and then it has some like dark stuff going on, and it also has emotional parts, but it's a lot quicker and a lot less like it's more kiddie than Toy Story or Inside Out is.
Like, there's not as much stuff for adults in it.
Yeah, like I'm saying, like it's not as kiddie as Toy Story, which is literally about toys, but Toy Story is like this horrifying, traumatic
Yeah,
movie
Toy Story is for adults. Let's be real, Toy Story is not for kids.
It's really
kids
not.
Like it, but adults love Toy Story.
Yeah, it's some dark shit. So Home is like that, and it's about an alien invasion where they take all the humans and put them all in Australia so they can like live on the planet, and these aliens are just like a bunch of goofballs with like no social skills. And they just keep on moving from planet to planet because they're being attacked by this other alien species that's after them. And there's a reason for that, which I'm not going to spoil. But the part that I really liked about this movie more than like any Disney film is that the main character is an alien who teams up with a girl who was not abducted. And she was hiding out. And it's this like teenage African-American girl. And she's really smart. She's like a mathematician genius, and she's not afraid of anything. And I'm like, this is great. Why can't Disney do this? Like, why can't Disney have somebody of color be in a very like lead role who's smart and like bold and funny and sassy, and like she's really great. Like she's so smart in this, and like she's surviving on her own, and like they keep on making jokes and comments about how she's like this great mathematician and like, or yeah, because keeps on being like, I was great at geometry. So it was just really interesting to watch that dynamic. And I was like, I already like this more than a Disney film just because it's not just a bunch of white people running around with aliens, you know?
Yeah,
So,
that sounds pretty cute. I have never heard of this in my life.
you should watch it. It's on Netflix. But then
Okay,
again,
I'll check
you don't
it
have
out.
time to watch anything.
I
So,
don't. I'm gonna set aside some time to watch Gotham. Excuse me. That's
oh
what
yeah,
I'm gonna
well,
watch. I'm gonna watch a bunch of white people running around Gotham.
okay, that's true. You are gonna watch that. But Fish
Yay.
Mooney is coming back,
Fish
so
Mooney is coming back. Are we skipping ahead to that?
um
This was like the thing that I was like, all right, that's it. I'm getting caught up on Gotham. I'm getting caught
yeah,
up on Gotham. I'll do
we
it.
do
I'm
need
gonna
to do some
freaking do it.
workout tips, but we can talk about Gotham first and then we can do some workout tips
Yeah, I'm just
because
excited
we're already
for
there.
coming back. So I completely fell off the wagon with Gotham, which I've talked about on this show multiple times because Ryan and I both watch Gotham and we talk to each other about it a lot, and it's going to seriously impact our friendship if I don't keep watching Gotham. So I need to get back on the wagon, but I keep procrastinating it because I don't know. It's okay, but there weren't that many characters that I was super into. And so even though I hear that this season gets a lot better, I just after Fish Mooney left, I was like, what's the point of this show? Because she was like my favorite character on it. So now I hear she's coming back and I'm like, okay,
Also, season
I'm
2 is
gonna
much
get
better
caught
than
up.
season 1.
That's
I
what
also,
everybody
for the
says.
record, I had to finish the last couple episodes because last week Maddie goes, "Let's finish Gotham and catch up so we could talk about it on the show,"
And then I
and
watched
I
it
did
on
it.
today. Although I had use which was that I had to do chores all weekend long, but I don't there was literally no chance for me to watch any Gotham at all.
Well, I mean, it's really campy now, much more campy than it was in the first season, and we keep talking about that. They have a aesthetic on their sets that is reminiscent of Batman Returns, which
Well,
is
that's intentional too. Like they've talked about that. They've been
yeah,
like,
but it
we're
was not like
intentionally
that in the
trying to
first
evoke
season.
Tim Burton.
Yeah, because in the first season they didn't do that, and this season they were like, "Fuck it, let's do that," and it was a good decision on their part. Um, and they also like in this season they've spent more time developing the characters in more of the classic Batman way. So like the Riddler is more Riddlery, the Penguin is more Penguiny, like you know what I mean. And it's like Catwoman's more than just like this girl that Bruce Wayne knows that's also sort of a bad guy. She's like street smart. Alfred is
Yeah.
great in this. Okay, wait, hold on.
But
So
also
you haven't
Catwoman
seen
is
this
still a
yet.
child. So like how
I
bad
know.
can she really be? She's like 15.
The thing, I mean, she's great. I mean, they're all. The thing I can say about Gotham is that they are all in character to their comic book counterparts, which I can't say about any of the other CW shows. But in Gotham, they are like to the T their personalities. Even Leslie Tompkins, who I was talking to you about yesterday, is like the perfect young version of Leslie
She's
Tompkins.
awesome on the show. She's like almost enough to make me want to continue the show because I like the women characters are often given very little to do on this show, but it kind of seems like that finally started to change. Like Barbara's starting to do some stuff. Tigress is there.
Tigress is great, and she fights Alfred, and it's like one of my favorite fight scenes
Alfred
on
is
the
also
show.
pretty cool on Gotham. That's the part of it that is kind of different. Like even though the characters are in character to their comic book counterparts, like in terms of personalities, I would say that Gotham changes the canon a lot in a way that I know some people just found too annoying to watch because like obviously Bruce and Selena didn't know each other when they were middle school.
Yeah, but it's like they're never going to get to the point where they're adults, and it's like we're never going to see Bruce Wayne as Batman because I mean, basically, Commissioner Gordon is that role in this.
Yeah, and like there's also I don't know, maybe Gotham will be on for 20 years. I don't know, maybe it could
I
happen.
hope not. I don't think
Anyway.
this is going to Smallville it. I really don't. But
So I'm doing squats today with 5-pound weights on my
sweet.
shoulders.
How's that going?
It's harder. But I
Good
have
story.
to I gotta that's my workout tip. You can put weights like on your shoulders and do a squat, and then it is a more intense squat than just doing a squat normally.
I see. Okay, so I do that, and that's the only time I use our 30-pound weights because I usually work with the 20s. Oh, wait, no,
I mean,
yeah,
I could probably do more weight than this, but these are the weights I have at hand. So.
right. And I do those, and when I do those, Yeah, this will be my workout tip. So I'll do like those ones that you're doing like that, and I do squat like that, and then I'll also stand up straight, which I don't think I'm gonna have enough room for you to see, where you stand literally like this. Here, I got these weights here, and you kind of go up on your tippy toes.
Do you have the camera on you right now? I hope you do.
I do not. Here, I can't back up far enough for you to see me, but it's kind of like you want to go parallel, like you're completely straight, and you go like this up on your tippy toes.
Yeah.
And you're holding the weights in your hands. And then the other one I also do when I do these reps, because I'll do these ones too. I do the squats like you're doing.
Yeah.
And then there's one other one. What else do I do? Oh yeah. When I'm doing those, I also do the formation where I just do a bunch of these too.
Oh, this?
Yeah.
Do you do this?
Okay, I like how.
Of it?
Hold on, I'm just gonna say that this is great.
I have to cut all of that out of the audio only version.
No, it's gonna be so great. It's like you do this and this and this. For the record, guys, we're doing squats.
This, and then you do this, and then you're done.
It's a workout video.
Make a workout video. We're so fucking helpful. So when you do rows, I think that's what they're called. Do you do your elbows out to your sides too? Because that's like a separate one.
I haven't done those ones, but maybe I should.
It's good for like picking things up, obviously. I forgot about that exercise entirely. I should be doing those.
That actually looks good for you when you do that.
Also, I know so many exercises. I'll just talk about them next week. Never mind.
I know that the people watching or listening to the podcast can't see it right now, but Maddie's arms look great when she was doing those last sets.
My arms are looking really good. And you know why? Because I've been working out on this fucking show. Yesterday, I was like jokingly flexing at the bathroom mirror, and I was like, this is the first time my arms have actually started to look good again in months. Because
I mean, those muscles don't go away.
I stopped working out for a really long time, and part of why I did this show was because I was like, I gotta keep my weights next to my desk, and I gotta like do this.
Now, are you doing it during the day too, like I told you to?
A little bit, not as much as I should, but it's good that they're there. I mean, like the fact that they're there helps me remember.
Maybe I should start sending you reminders, because I'm thinking about bringing weights to the studio, and I should be like, all right, Maddie, it's noon. Stop whatever you're doing to do like one set and then go back to whatever you're doing.
Every time I send you an IM, you should just tell me to do that. Except then I would lift weights 300 times a day.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, we message each other literally all day and all night, and we have been for like 20 years. So
just in case people were worried that Ryan and I don't talk enough and that maybe this show is the only time we talk, it's not. Okay, so let's actually talk about something.
All right, morning news. Woo!
Oh my god.
Okay, so did you see
Smash?
What?
Okay, I'm skipping ahead. I'm just excited.
Let's just talk about that since you already said it. So that comes out this week, but Bayonetta is going to be available for DLC in Super Smash Brothers, and she comes with her Clock Tower stage.
That's awesome.
And they also are putting in
I think
some
she comes
Fire
out
Emblem character nobody cares about.
Yeah, I don't care.
You're like, so anyway, Bayonetta.
I'm sorry. I do know that there are a lot of people out there who love Fire Emblem. I just haven't played them, so it's not as exciting to me. But if you're excited,
even a game that's out yet, like.
If you're excited, that's fine. That's great. But I'm excited for Bayonetta because I have played those games. I think it's out today because somebody tweeted at me yesterday and they were like, "You gonna write about Bayonetta when she comes out tomorrow?" And I was like, yeah, probably. But inside I was thinking, wait, does she come out tomorrow? I'm just gonna Google that. Thanks to that person for tweeting at me, by the way, whoever you are.
That was funny because, like, what was it yesterday? I go, well, first of all, they had the announcement that Elizabeth Banks is playing Rita Repulsa, which I'm so excited for. I know other people aren't, but they can get over it.
Well, yeah.
And I go, I messaged you.
I understand why people aren't excited for it, and I wrote an article about it.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I, like, literally messaged Maddie, like, at the end of yesterday, I'm like, oh my God.
You were like, oh my God. And I was like, Ryan, I like wrote an article about this a second ago.
No, but you didn't even say that. You're just like, she goes, well, Maddie says, yeah, I know. And then I find her article when I'm going through Google News and it comes up and I was like, oh.
I think it's obnoxious to say that every time somebody's like, I read this news and I'm so excited about it. Like, I have had to stop myself from being like, yeah, I covered that. Like, I can't.
To be fair, you have to cover like 5 things a day.
Exactly. So the chances are that if anybody reads any news story, I'm like, and it's interesting at all, I'll be like, I covered that. Or I'll be like, my coworker covered that. So
yeah.
Like, that's not even useful information to add to the conversation.
You know everything before I do. It's crazy.
News.
You and Ben provide me news about like everything, and I'm the last person to know.
Yeah. Ryan IM'd me at like 8 p.m. being like, Elizabeth Banks is reading Repulsa. I'm like, welcome to 8 hours ago, dude.
I'm like just not there during the day because I'm busy working, you know? It's like
Bayonetta related update. She is apparently out today.
Okay.
I do not know what time. I'm reading an article that's like, what time does she come out? And there's like not an answer in here. So she might already be out now.
You may not be able to write about it today because you may not be able to download it until like after
I'm going to have to download it tonight and play tonight. Oh, guess what? So Zach bought me the GameCube adapter for the Wii U, so now I can finally use GameCube controllers in the Wii U Smash.
Awesome. That's great.
We only got to try it out for like a couple of hours, so tonight is a good time to do that. I'll just get Bayonetta and try that out instead of obsessively turning my apartment into a spaceship, because I need to do that also.
I think you can take a break and play Bayonetta for 24 hours.
I know. I'm just excited.
You're allowed.
I'm excited about GENO, but I'm also really scared that we're going to fuck it up. Yay!
Well, whatever. Bayonetta's in Smash.
Ryan is somehow completely fucking chill about GENO, and I'm like, we're finally gonna film it. And this isn't even the first time that we've tried to film it. We actually have
test footage from when our friend Rain was helping us make it, and in
some ways I'm glad that just ended up being test footage, because it gave us an opportunity to wait a few months and then rewrite the scene based on the test footage that we had filmed.
I can do a screenshot and send it to Twitter just so you can kind of post it. It actually does look really good. And we did it before we had the nicer camera. So
we did. And also we did it before we had access to we would have had access to my living room, but at that time we were trying to find a filming location in Connecticut.
All right. Well, to be fair, back then we were like, we needed to look exactly like a spaceship. And recently we're like, why don't we just like dial it down like 25 notches?
Also, we still failed. I mean, you're going to send out a screenshot, and the set that we built doesn't look exactly like a spaceship. Or maybe it does?
Well,
people can let us know what they think.
I think
we might be able to recreate some of the stuff that we did before. So actually do let us know what you think.
One thing I can confirm is that Maddy looks really badass. She looks like Starbuck a little bit. So
yeah, I play a spy on this show, so that's why I have to lift weights. That was actually why I was posing in front of the mirror. I was am I going to be muscular enough to look like
was that really why you were doing that?
Spy? Yeah, because I've been feeling like complete shit about myself lately. That's like the beginning of that story.
Okay. That's a really sad story.
Well, I mean, when don't I? I'm like, great, I'm going to appear in a web series. Let me like look at myself in the mirror and think about all of my flaws. I mean, everyone does that. That's like classic.
I know,
this is not even a weird thing. Literally everyone in the world does what I just described. And most of those people don't try to build a spaceship and like star in a web series, but they should. Seize the day, everybody.
And be an alien.
Yeah, be an alien if that's what you want to be. Do you want to? There's so many things on this list.
We actually just covered half of them really quickly.
Can we talk about Resident Evil Battle Core? Because you have been making these videos with Steph. Is that what this item is?
No, it's not. Okay, first of all, we can talk about the videos, which is Resident Evil Revelations 2, and that's the raid mode I was talking about. And Steph keeps on posting videos of us running on as Claire Redfield and Albert Wesker.
And Ryan as Wesker, he keeps doing all the different emotes. And it's so funny.
Like mid-battle, and it's like Steph shoots all the zombies, and she turns around, and I'm like, dancing or giggling or doing like high fives. Yeah, what Maddie's doing. I'm like literally flailing around as Wesker.
Steph will post like a little like 30-second MP4 of like Ryan as Wesker doing like the most idiotic dances, and it's so funny. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen. There's like
we have a good time.
Maybe 10 of the videos, and they're all really short, but they're all really adorable. And like
maybe
all
I'm trying to get them all so
Steph.
I can compile them and like put them on Atomic Blue or something, because they're really funny.
To see that. I would love to see you do that. Just like set them to music and like put them all up. Like set them to like Zombie Nation. Oh my god, Zombie Nation. I said that before I realized how apropos it was. Oh my god,
I just realized we were talking about. I was like Zombie Nation, haha. I was like, oh my god, flashback to literally 10 years ago.
That came on my iPhone during Shuffle the other day, and I was like, oh my god, Zombie Nation.
I can't remember how that even got
period of time where Ryan and I didn't know what that song was called.
Okay, yeah, same. You and I kept on thinking it was like a bunch of other things before we figured out what it was called.
Kind of hard to tell what he's saying there. I mean, he's saying Zombie Nation. Obviously, now we know that, but we didn't know that at the time. This is a
Wow.
lot like that story where we didn't know what kind of animal King DDD was.
I was just thinking that. I was literally like, this is like Kirby's Dream Land all over again. And as usual, we were both wrong. It was zombie.
Oh my god. Anyway, what are we doing on this show?
Resident Evil Battle Corps. They just announced it. There's not a lot of information on it because Capcom's pumping out Resident Evil games like every year now. And they have Resident Evil 7, which is in production right now. But in the meantime, they're giving us this other weird, like, Resident Evil Mercenary type of game that I think has online co-op. So it's basically the Resident Evil Mercenaries game again. But it's called like Battle Corps. And it's more set like Call of Duty a little bit, and you just get to play on like all the maps of all the Resident Evil games, except you're like a SWAT team. That's it.
So
it's like literally just the raid mode.
So is it just going to be you and Steph playing this game?
Probably, because like I'm sure it's going to do what all the other games do, and you can unlock all the other characters, even though they haven't announced yet. But that's probably what's going to happen, and I'm going to just be like, Steph, let's play this game now. But I'm trying to talk around to get...
I'm not that into these multiplayer Resident Evils, but I realize they fucked up
the
story.
It's like a new thing.
They can't keep doing those.
I mean, it was not really happening before, except for like co-op in Resident Evil 5 and 6. But now they have online mode. And I'm also trying to get her to play Call of Duty Black Ops because the new one, because I might play that if she does. So, and I don't like Call of Duty games. I was just bitching about that the other day.
I know. Steph is really good at everything, though. So I think she would play whatever with you.
Steph's
like, if you were like, I want to get into this XYZ game, she'd be like, all right. As long as you don't wave your hands around like an idiot while we're trying to play, which, of course, you will do regardless.
Well, if I'm Wesker, of course I will. Mm-hmm. So have you seen the new Lego Star Wars trailer? Because it's like literally one of the greatest things I've ever seen.
It looks pretty fun. The Lego games are really fun. I realize it's the same game every single
time. Over and over and over.
And I understand and accept that. But
there's
also
a reason why I buy
them
on sale.
They're really adorable and they're cute and fun. So like I was actually thinking about getting the Lego Avengers game.
Me too, but I still have to play the Marvel Superheroes one that I bought forever ago and have not played.
I haven't played a Lego game in so long.
They're fun games.
The problem is that Zach won't play any of these games with me. Like, he just won't do it. And then I'm like, well, what am I going to do? Like, ignore my boyfriend for 7 hours and play a video game? Like, I feel like an asshole. I realize that's what every other gamer on the planet does, but I actually feel like a shitty person when I do that. And it has impacted my gaming time living with Zach, because I'm like, why wouldn't I just spend time with my boyfriend?
Well,
I'm becoming a healthy person. Can you believe it?
I think what would happen is that we need to get the game and then bring it over so all three of us can play, and we could probably beat it in one sitting.
That might help, because like Zach just doesn't. He likes very specific games, and if he doesn't like a game, he's like, all right, I'm done. Like, he's normal in the sense that he'll be like, if I don't like something, I'm not going to play it at all. Like, he won't like compromise. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is perfectly fine. I don't know. I feel like there have been a lot of times when I've been like, all right, I'll play this game because the other person here is really into it. But Zach is like, no, I'm just going to go in the other room. And I'm like, oh, well, then we're not spending time together anymore. So I may as well do something else that you are interested in, because that was the whole point of this. Anyway, so I have to find games that he actually likes. I think he might like the Lego games if he tried.
I think he would, because there's no gore in them. So, I mean, he'll be safe.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. The last topic on our list for morning news is this is not really. There's not a lot of information on it, but there's basically an announcement that Nickelodeon is making a giant mashup movie of all their like 90s Nickelodeon cartoons.
I've been hearing about this for a while. There've been like rumors about it for months. Sounds really weird, honestly.
It really does. And I don't know what the deal is, because they were like, it's going to be like Avengers, but with Nickelodeon. I'm like, except none of those characters are superheroes. Like, you have, like,
I know!
They were like, it's going to be like, we're going to have like Tommy Pickles with Rocco's Modern Life. And I was like, okay, what is happening?
Yeah, they're like, we're just going to put the Rugrats together with like, I don't know, Rocco's Modern Life and like Doug?
Cat Dog. So, okay,
like,
but
I think Doug is going to fucking be in it. It's like everybody from when we were kids.
It's to be wacky and fun if they take like a Roger Rabbit approach to it, and then they're
that was what I thought when I first read the news. But the problem is that like none of these characters ever existed in the same universe ever.
No.
Whereas in Roger Rabbit, I can't even talk. In Roger Rabbit, at least some of the characters were from the same universe, so that was part of what kind of made it work. And they would sort of like break the fourth wall and be like, oh, like Daffy Duck and Donald Duck would never have interacted, obviously. Yeah. But like some of these other characters know each other, and you can sort of show that. But in this, it's like completely random. Like
they already did one crossover movie.
Hang out with a Rugrat. Like that would never.
Do you remember when the Rugrats did a crossover with the Wild Thornberries? That was a thing that happened. It actually
seems like it could work because
there's kids on both shows.
The animation is kind of similar. I don't know. I've never seen it, but it sounds kind of funny.
It was on Netflix for a little while. I watched it and I was like, oh, this is pretty great. Which, by the way, Rugrats is one of those shows that I've been rewatching because Maddie knows, but you guys don't. I've been doing this thing where I'm just rewatching everything we watched as kids and seeing if I still like it as an adult.
Do you?
Rugrats holds up. It's actually
that should be our throwback today.
It should be. All right, we'll get Birds of Prey too, but we'll get there in a second.
I'll just do some reader mail first.
Yeah, let's do that because I feel like we're a little ADD today.
We're so ADD.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
All right, so we have two reader mails from Mary Ellen, our producer.
Yay, read the mails. Isn't one of them from last week and we missed it? Should we go back?
And this is the one that I laughed really hard at and didn't tell you about, but she sent me this email last week that goes, guys, the voice of Siri just followed me on Twitter. I have no idea why. Just wanted to tell you, bye, anonymous.
I love that she signs every message to us anonymous.
No, this one, okay, so she sent another one like 30 minutes ago that she goes, hey guys, I'm a big fan, longtime listener, first time caller. Wanted to hear your thoughts on Kanye changing his album name from Swish to Waves.
I have thoughts on this.
Thanks. Keep up the great work. Maybe they'll actually start at 9 someday.
Oh my God. Fuck you, Mary Ellen.
Signed.
Okay, so
no. It's signed. Wait, hold on. She didn't sign it anonymous. She signed it Jeb Bush.
Oh, wow. Jeb Bush sent us an email about the Kanye Wiz beef. Holy shit. All right. So, like, I'm just going to say one thing because nobody gives a shit what white girls think about Kanye. We're all obsessed with him. Everybody knows that. So, like, Boresville, I know. But I just want to say that I think it's really annoying that nobody understands that Kanye and Wiz Khalifa's beef on Twitter is like a highly calculated marketing campaign that's like extremely clever. And Kim Kardashian and Amber Rose going and taking selfies together like a few days later, also very calculated and intentional. And like, I think that people think that like, oh, like these are people of color and they produce rap music and like fashion lines, they must be stupid. No, they're not. They're really fucking smart, and all of this is intentional. And like all of the funny tweets that Kanye sent, some of which were shitty, and like he actually did apologize for some of the shittier tweets, which was nice to see. Like all that stuff was planned. Like I am willing to bet you, I don't know how much money. I don't have very much money. I'll bet you guys $1 on this thing that we'll never be able to confirm that like Kanye and Wiz Khalifa had a phone call or like several phone calls and they're friends and they're like, wouldn't it be funny if we pretended to have a Twitter fight? And like, wouldn't it be funny if like these were the things that we pretended to fight over? And like, you can tell from Kanye's tweets that like he and Wiz Khalifa are actually friends. Like it's really obvious. So I guess I'm just tired of people being like, wow, I can't believe Kanye and Wiz Khalifa are fighting. I'm like, they're not fucking fighting. They're selling albums.
I mean, like, come on.
They're selling albums, and Kanye changing the name of his album multiple times is part of it. Like all of that is part of it. Like that's how albums are sold now, is by people sending really funny tweets on Twitter and like being funny and charming. Like that's part of being an artist. And yeah, Kanye's always been really good at it. So maybe people should acknowledge that like all of his bits are part of his fucking thing. I don't know. People are stupid and they underestimate him. They like think that he doesn't know exactly what he's doing. He does. Anyway, that's it.
The end. Well, that's it for reader mail. We have Skye's stuff, which we'll do when we do our food stuff.
All right.
So I guess we were just talking about two throwback things. I like how you had a rant about Kanye. Marianne, thank you for putting Maddie into a rant about Kanye for like 5 minutes.
No one cares what I think about Kanye.
But we do have two throwback things now. The first one's not going to take long because you don't really actually know much about it. But basically, Maddy sent me a message.
I was like, what is the name of that show that's about like all the characters from Gotham City, but it's like all the girls and like I can't remember what it's called.
Well, yeah, she's like, you guys should probably watch it. And I was like, Birds of Prey, which is a series that was written by, well, the comic books was written by Gail Simone, who is a incredible writer, and I love her.
Yeah, she's also super famous. So like everybody's heard of Gail Simone. She's a very famous comic book writer.
Right. And they tried making a TV show about it in like 2003, 2004. And hold on, I gotta put on my weights because I can't talk and do this at the same time. But it's really bad. But of all the weird DC shows that have come out, I feel like it's one of the better ones, and it's still really bad. And it's okay. So let me say that the comic books involve Barbara Gordon, who has now become Oracle because she's wheelchair bound, and
she's Oracle on the show too, right?
Right. And hold on, I'm catching my breath. And on the show, she's played by Dina Meyer, which I think was a great casting choice. Or Dina Meyer. I don't even remember how to pronounce her name.
None of that matters. People can look at the IMDb.
Yeah, they can.
I don't know. It's a bunch of people who were famous in like 1998 or whenever this came out.
Yeah, they weren't even really famous then either. But in the comic books, it involves Barbara Gordon as Oracle, and then Helena Bertinelli, who's like a teacher and also like the daughter of a mob gang leader, as Huntress, and then it involves Black Canary. And in the TV show, they still have Barbara. They have Huntress, who is now the daughter of Selena Kyle and Batman. And Selena Kyle's murdered, so Batman goes crazy and stops being Batman and leaves. So Huntress takes up the mantle as Huntress when she's older, and she's got like daddy issues, but no mommy issues for some reason.
None of this is like canon.
No, it's not. And Huntress also
skipped over the comic book and into Birds of Prey. Some of this is only on the TV show, which is
no. I'm just talking about the TV show now because that's why I was talking about who they were in the comic books before.
Okay.
And then Black Canary in this is the daughter of Black Canary, and she has telepathy and telekinesis.
They wanted to make all the girls like 18, 19. They wanted them all to be like young teenagers. So
yeah,
it was relatable.
It was weird, and then it was also doing this like weird Buffy type of thing where they like had like the same type of Buffy sassy writing lines, and like Huntress worked at a bar that was like essentially like the club in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and it was
a lot of it looks like Buffy. So what happened was I figured out about this show and I was like, I'm gonna look up the trailer for it, and I watched the trailer and I was like, this trailer has a song in it that Ryan sent me when I was like 15, and I became completely obsessed with this song, and it's by Amy Allen, who's like a musical artist that no one has heard of because she never became popular, and a lot of her songs ended up getting sold to Tila Tequila later for Tila Tequila's shitty record. But Amy Allen did all those songs first, and like I got Amy Allen's album on like Kazaa or whatever the fuck.
Kazaa. Oh my god.
It probably wasn't still Kazaa then, but it might have been. So like I listened to all these Amy Allen songs and I was obsessed with her, but I never knew like where you got that song from. But I think you told me, you were like, oh, this is the Birds of Prey song. And I was like, okay, well, TV is not allowed in my house, so I'm never going to see that show. So
I just ironic, actually.
I know my mom might have let me watch it if she knew that it was about like superheroines, but we didn't get cable, so I don't think I would have been able to watch it anyway. I could only watch public access shows or whatever the fuck.
Well, the TV show was nothing like the comic book, that's for sure. And it was also super shitty. So, I mean, those are all things.
So anyway, I'm going to watch all of it, but after I finish watching Gotham, so maybe in like 2 years I'll watch it.
I was gonna say like sometime later on in your 40s.
I'll enjoy it
someday. Did you want to talk about Rugrats, or do you want to?
Oh, I guess we should close it out. I do want to hear about Rugrats at some point, though. But
we can save it for next week's throwback, because Birds of Prey was. I don't know. You guys should go and watch it. Don't expect it.
At least look up the trailer, which is narrated by Alfred.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. I'm forgetting the aspects about that. So Alfred goes and like starts working at the clock tower instead, because he's like, well, there's nobody here at the Waymanor, so go tidy up the clock tower. So he's there all the time.
Coach these teen girls on how to fight, because he's sort of like a Giles character, I guess. And like they were just copying Buffy, which is completely fine. Like of all the shows that deserve to be copied at that time.
Yeah, I agree. It's really bad. And it's like, if I could recommend something to Birds of Prey to watch, I say just read the comic books, because those are correct. they don't involve
Those
a
are
weird
correct.
alternate version
They
of
are
Huntress,
correct.
daughter of Black Canary. Like, what the hell is happening?
Yeah.
Also, Harley Quinn was in it. It was her first on-screen appearance, and I'm bringing this up because Suicide Squad is coming out. Everyone's like, it's Harley Quinn's first time she's on screen. I'm like, no, she was already on screen for Birds of Prey, but everyone immediately forgot that because it was terrible.
I had never even heard of Birds of Prey until I was like, I did a story at some point this year about a show that a potential spin-off from like Arrow or whatever that would be like Birds of Prey.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And so I was Googling around being like spin-off Birds of Prey show. And I ended up stumbling onto the IMDb page for the first Birds of Prey. And I was like, no one told me that this show existed except for apparently Ryan when we were 15 and I wasn't paying attention. But like, seriously, it's not a popular show. Like,
I'm sure I could go and watch it again and like write about it like I did with the X-Men Evolution episode that was like about feminism, but not. And I think that's kind of on the same wavelength.
Yeah, I actually would legit like to watch Birds of Prey at some point and like see if it holds up and like see if there's anything interesting about it. Because the fact that it failed at the time doesn't necessarily. I mean, I'm sure it's fucking bad. Like, let's be real.
It's really bad. It's really bad. And now that you brought up the whole thing with Arrow, I forgot that they had been thinking about maybe doing a spinoff with Felicity Smoke.
Yeah, that was what
Huntress
I was
and the weird Black Canaries that they've had in Arrow. Yeah. But the Huntress in Arrow is much closer to the Huntress in the comic books than the one in Birds of Prey is. And if you want to figure out who Huntress really is, I would obviously read the comic books, but you can kind of get the gist of it from Arrow at least, which is not one of my favorite shows, but whatever. But Harley Quinn was in the original Birds of Prey show, and it was.
We're just going to keep harping on that. If you want to see Harley Quinn, watch Birds of Prey. Don't watch Suicide Squad.
She's still like an evil psychiatrist at that point.
That's great because that's the original version of Harley, and Suicide Squad is undoing a lot of her backstory, which is fucked up. But we don't have time to talk about that.
The new 52 is completely undone.
The new 52 fucked up Harley Quinn. They fucked her up. The end. Don't read it.
All right. So we have food. And Skye sent us a good hold on. She sent me something that was like buffalo tofu for the Super Bowl.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so we're gonna talk about that. And I also want to talk about like Super Bowl food today because like Skye put that in my head and I'm ready to talk about Super Bowl food. So we're gonna start with her on Skye's recipe corner.
I don't give a crap who goes to the Super Bowl because I don't care, but I'm still hanging out with some friends that day. I'm gonna eat some food, so
we need like a theme song for Skye.
We do. We need like a
da 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 da. Some more 8-bit music. All right, so she sent in saying, "Hey folks, I can't speak today. I'm like all over the place." She says, "Hey folks, since football is finally coming to an end soon." I didn't realize how funny that was. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's actually what the Super Bowl is celebrating, is the fact that we won't have to hear about football for a really long time. That's what I'm celebrating.
So basically, she's sharing this recipe for buffalo tofu, which involves 1 16-ounce block of extra firm tofu, 1 teaspoon of olive oil, half teaspoon of sea salt, and 1/4 teaspoon of paprika. And then for the buffalo sauce, you have 1/4 Frank's Red Hot sauce and 1/8 cup of vegan butter or real butter or whatever. She writes in parentheses, preheat the oven to 450 degrees. In a bowl, combine the oil, salt, and paprika. Cut the tofu into cubes. Press them or pat them down to reduce moisture, and then toss to the coat with the mixture. Place each tofu cube in a single layer on a baking sheet lined with parchment. Roast for 15 minutes on each side. In a wok, melt the butter, turn off the heat, and add the sauce. Stir to combine. Add the freshly roasted tofu and toss until thoroughly coated. And she says you can serve it with ranch or celery or not.
That sounds really easy. And
I was going to say it sounds really easy to do, and I'm sure we could do something like that. We make tofu here all the time, so.
Yeah, and you could even use fake chicken, which I know you're a big fan of.
I am. That actually sounds really good. I read it when she sent it to us too, and I was like, this sounds really good, and I sort of want that right now.
Well, you don't have to wait for Super Bowl Sunday, although that is this Sunday, I think.
It is this Sunday. Meg and Jess have reminded me several times. And I guess for my Super Bowl themed food, I'm going with our appetizer that Ben always makes for literally any party we ever do, which is spinach artichoke dip. Spinach artichoke dip.
Spinach artichoke dip.
Okay, see, you're already fucking it up. It's really hard to say.
It's hard to say.
But
Spinach artichoke dip is delicious, though.
and it's like
really
literally
good.
that. Like it's those things, and then you put in some like
Well, it's got
heavy
cheese in it,
cream
right?
and
Isn't
and
that
cheese, like lots of cheddar cheese, and I can't remember if you put sour cream in there or not, but it's
a
really
bunch of
good.
good stuff.
It's really good. And that's like our go-to. We've brought that to like almost every Super Bowl party we've gone to. And I eat most of it before anybody else does. What do you normally make?
I normally go to somebody else's house for the Super Bowl, and then I don't have to do any work at all.
Maddie goes over to the veggie tray and she's like, all set.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. When was the last time I actually like tried to make a Super Bowl meal? I don't know. I think the last time I did it, it was fajitas. Like Zach's mom made us fajitas for the Super Bowl one year.
That's
It was the
really
year that
good.
Beyonce performed. That's all I remember about it. So I was eating a bunch of fajitas and watching Beyonce. The reason why that was fun is because fajitas take a lot of like doing. Like you have to really prepare every single thing.
Yeah.
Because fajitas are like a do-it-yourself food. So like I don't give a shit about the Super Bowl, so it's great for me because I could be like, I'm gonna construct the perfect fajita and completely ignore what's happening, and then when the commercials come on, I can come back and like eat my fajita. It was pretty great. So that's what I recommend if you want to like an excuse not to look at the screen. Make fajitas.
I love that our Super Bowl food is like dips and like nachos and like all those like spicy foods.
Some of that
so
stuff
good.
Is pretty good.
No, I'm not insulting it. I love that shit. Like,
yeah,
oh my
it's
God.
not like fake food. I mean, not that I wouldn't eat a fuckload of cupcakes during the Super Bowl. I mean, I would do that, but
you could also make nachos. Nachos is like the perfect party food.
I was gonna say chips and salsa originally. Like, if you are really trying to figure out what to bring to a party, you really can't go wrong with chips and salsa. Honestly,
oh, you really can't. And that's usually my favorite thing to eat there, besides like the veggie platter.
Like every party, like that's something like pretty much everybody likes to eat is chips and salsa. So
yeah.
Everybody's favorite friend.
It's kind of like it's almost like a nostalgic throwback at this point, because like that's the only thing we'd have at parties we threw in our teens. I mean, like just a ton of that. Like
honestly, when we were teenagers, we ate a lot more Oreos.
I was gonna say that and cookies.
So bring Oreos to a Super Bowl party.
Always bring Oreos. Period. If you're playing Super Smash Brothers, even better.
All right, I have to go though.
All right, I know. All right, so let's close out and say that. Thank you for watching and listening, or whatever. I mean, sorry about
watching
the
/
microphones. Listening. You know what? It's just part of the charm now is that we have a million.
I don't know what to do about it. It seems unfixable. I guess what I will do is wake up earlier.
Yeah, I already made a joke about that. I was like, we could start earlier, but I don't want to. You can subscribe to this channel, which is Insomniacs at the Morning, and then also over our home channel, which is Atomic Blue Productions. And we also post clips of our shows there. And that's also where GENO will go whenever we actually make it. You can follow us on Twitter at Atomic Blue Prod and on Facebook at Atomic Blue Productions. We have a Tumblr too, if you want to follow that, but it's more or less the same as Twitter and Facebook. It's just subscribe to whichever one is the best social media feed for you.
Just follow us on the one that you like, and you'll get updates about when we post clips. Ryan makes little 10-minute clips of the best parts of this show, so if you want the short version, you can get it. And he posts those regularly because he's very on top of social media. Unlike me, I only post about donuts.
That's okay though, and
so
you can follow us.
Ryan.
I don't know. I mean, like, sure, I do that, but you know, some days I forget too. So, you can follow us on Twitter. You know where Maddie's at Samus Clone. I'm at Dr. Yoshi too. And I think that's everything. I think
we did it.
Maddie's got to go to work. I have to go to a shoot.
I have to go recap Agent Carter. Goodbye.
Bye, Maddie. Thank you, Mary Ellen, for being our producer.
Thanks, Mary Ellen. Thanks, Skye, for your
Thanks, Skye. Bye, guys.
Bye.